is Aprille Walker from the Yoga Ranger Studio, and today we're going to take a really fun, good look at Yin Yoga for backbends. So if you are someone like me who really enjoys that feeling of energy, lightness, and even maybe just a little bit of euphoria after a backbend practice, or you are looking to deepen your backbend practice in your regular Yang practices, this is a great Yin class for you to try. So we're going to start on our backs. The only couple of props that you're going to need, a blanket underneath is always advisable just to kind of cushion things out. A second blanket rolled up to start with, and we'll use it in a couple of other poses, but not right now. So go ahead and start lying down. Take those feet out, arms out. You're going to walk your feet over to the right. So cross that left ankle over your right. You're going to move your upper body just a little bit, not just your neck, but your entire upper body. You want to keep both hips centered on the floor. And then you're going to take that left arm up and over, right arm up and over. And if you don't reach the floor, you can use that roll blanket to prop your hands, but you're going to grab hold of that left wrist and pull it with your right hand. So you get more stretch down the side body. So you're probably wondering, what does this have to do with a backbend practice? The side body opening for all of the backbends, things such as pigeon pose, the full expression of it, dancer's pose, even upward facing wheel on its own, all require some side body opening. If you don't have the space in the side body, if it is tight and constricted and tense, then it will be very difficult to get your arms up over your head and to get your legs back behind you and to open your quadriceps. So we're opening that entire space down the side body. So after a few breaths, you might find you can take those heels over a little bit further or not. You can keep looking up at the ceiling, or you can turn and look over your left elbow, arm. Start to really breathe into that left side body, feeling the opening stretch, that gentle pulling sensation all the way down that left side body. So if you are new to Yin Yoga, we stay in these poses anywhere from 1 to 8 minutes, sort of settling into it. Think of it as a traction style practice in which we are putting a measured amount of stress on the joints, ligaments, bones, connective tissue in order to make them stronger, more mobile, give you more opening. Just about 1 more minute here. Start to release your hands first. Turn your head back to center. Move your upper body back down the middle. Unwind those ankles. Take your heels out wide. And just relax your hands down, your heels, your ankles. Feel the remainder of that stretch in that left side body. Feel things sort of moving back into place. Sometimes you will feel a sense of warmth or tingling in the side that's been stretched or the area that's been stretched. And then we're going to go ahead and switch sides. Walk those feet over to the left. Cross that right ankle over that left. Move your upper body a little bit over as well in a banana shape. Right arm goes up and over. Left arm grabs hold of that right wrist. You can stay looking straight up just for a little while, or you can turn and look toward the right. Once again, you can make use of that blanket if you want to give you some arm support, if your arms don't reach the floor, or if that feels awkward. Take your first few breaths to settle into this pose, and then you might find that you can go a little bit further, or you might find you're perfectly happy with where you're at. Remember to release the muscle tension in your glutes and hip and thigh, and just let this tension occur. So you feel this sort of pulling, stretching sensation. Last minute here. Start to release your hands. Turn your head back to center. Move your upper body back down the middle. Unwind. Take those heels wide. And just breathe. Notice everything that's going on. So in a back bending practice, a lot of different muscles are used to get into a back bend, and many times we assume it is just your back. But you need to open the side body, the chest, the shoulders, the hip flexors, and the quadriceps to get a really deep, lovely back bend. Go ahead and bend your knees, bring your feet flat. You're going to roll all the way onto your right side and then come up. For our next pose, we're going to take Swan pose. So you can use your blanket here for a little bit of a prop. What we're going to do is we're going to take our right knee first. Adjust it out here. And because I want a little bit more height, I'm going to take my hands onto the blanket. So what you want to do is, most people kind of lilt over to the right side. You want to level it off so that your left hip is pointing straight down. Now, if you have blocks or books, you can take yourself a little bit higher. You can come up on fingertips, whatever it is, but try to sort of lengthen out through the back. So this pose opens the hip flexors, starts our stretch into the back. And see if over time you can sort of feel that left hip flexor coming just a little bit closer to the floor, your chest coming forward just a little bit more. Don't force that issue. It will happen as it happens. It's always good to look straight ahead where your chin is level with the floor. This allows your spine to stay long all the way from the base up to the cervical spine in your neck. Maybe you can take yourself a little bit higher, still allowing that left hip flexor to drop down. Just one more minute here. Start very slowly lower down. We're going to come into sleeping swan, which is basically taking your arms down to the floor if you can, if that feels good for you. Elbows down. You can come all the way with your forehead flat. Think about lengthening your spine here, so stretching out through the crown of the head. Letting the shoulders soften down toward the hips. Go ahead and press your hands into the floor, lift back up. You're going to flip those toes and come back to downward facing dog. So walk your dog out. Take a nice wide, long stance here. And then coming back down, we're going to switch sides. Take that left knee over to the left wrist. Bring our blanket back or blocks if you have them. Walk that back leg back a little bit further. Find where your hips are in space, whether they're tilting over to the left or not. And let that right hip sink down toward the floor. About a minute more here. If you want to come up a little bit higher, you can pull your blocks up higher or come onto fists or fingertips. Start to lower down. Take that blanket out of the way for now. Come down nice and slow. Forearms down or forehead. Reach out through the crown of the head and then just let the shoulders sink. Start to bring your palms flat. Lift yourself up. Flip those back toes and shift back to downward facing dog again here. Walking your dog out. And then go ahead and come down onto your knees. So keep your hips right above your knees or a little bit back behind. I find that taking them a little behind works better for me. Drop the belly down. Walk your hands out for heart melting pose. So here you take your chest to the floor, or you can take your forehead to the floor if that's not available for you. Take those arms out as far as you can. Spread your fingers wide. If you have more mobility in your neck, you can bring your chin to the floor. As time goes by, gravity will pull your chest and belly down a little bit more. Start to round your back up. Bring your hands back. Take your knees wide, big toes together. Form prayer hands out in front of you, forehead flat. And you can bring your thumbs to the back of your neck. Relax those hands, palms face up. And then go ahead and come back to center. Here's where our rolled blanket is going to come in handy. So because we want to open this front side of the quadriceps, the best pose to do that would be saddle pose. So you're going to take that blanket roll just a little bit away from your hips. Lean forward a little bit, take your thumbs, roll the calf muscles back and out. You can turn the feet out at an angle or you can keep them flat like this. Start to lower yourself down. So if you're not able to come all the way into this pose, do not worry, you are still getting all the benefits. You can start to lower yourself down a little bit further. I like to take the blanket out a little bit further as I get lower. And if you reach a point where you want to come all the way down, the blanket gives you a little bit of support. So if you're down low, take your hands underneath your hips and tilt your pelvis under just a little bit. This is going to lengthen out your lower back. So your knees are going to automatically fall a little bit wider in the yin, and they may come a little bit off the floor. That's okay. If you want, you can take your arms up overhead, but if they are tired from all the stretches, then you can just rest them alongside your hips. This is a wonderful stretch to get the quadriceps, hip flexors, and front side of the hips really open for some deeper back bends. Remembering that at any time, if you feel a lot of pain in this pose or any pose in yin, you should sort of take yourself back out a few steps and find a position where you feel tension and pull, but not pain. So it may take a while for you to come all the way down in this pose, and there is no rush to that. Lots of people have very tight quadriceps. Just about one more minute here. So to come out of this pose, you're going to bring your elbows underneath. I like to press into my feet to give me a little leverage. Tuck the chin to the chest and start to sort of move my way back up. Lean forward a little bit, take those feet out in front. Give them a little massage. Maybe wave them around a little. So I'm going to take the blanket off to the left side. We're going to take one final set of poses here. Now after every back bending practice and to really open the back, you need to move it in another way, which is a twist. So we're going to shift our hips over to the right, bring our knees into our chest, drop those knees over to the left. So I like the blanket here because it allows me to go a little bit deeper. Take your legs into a 90-degree angle. Right arm goes out to the right. Left hand just rests on those knees. So I always recommend after every back bend a little twist time to help unravel the tension in the back from a back bend. Because our bodies are so used to forward folding, a back bend is a very different position for us. So it's good to get a little twisting action here to help reset everything back into space. So you can lift your head and turn and look over your right shoulder, or you can look straight up at the ceiling here. Last few breaths on this side. Lift your head and turn it back to center. Release your knees. Go ahead and bring those knees back through the middle. Take your blanket over to the opposite side. Shift your hips over to the left this time. Bring your knees into your chest again. Take a 90-degree angle and drop those knees over to the right. Now your arm's going to come off the floor to start with. Mine always does. If that's the case, then you can always take that arm and sweep it back across. Get your blanket adjusted where it supports your knees. Lift your head and turn and look over that left shoulder again. Just about a minute to go here. Gently lift your head, turn it back to center. Bring those knees back through the middle. Give them a little squeeze into the chest. Rock them side to side. And then go ahead and take your feet wide. Drop your knees together, hands to your belly or to the side for your Shavasana. Just take a few breaths here. This helps your back settle back into position. So if you feel a lot of compression in your lower back after a practice, if you keep your knees bent, take them wide and drop the knees together. This opens the back, lower back, gives you more space, and will feel more comfortable. Take some nice deep breaths into the back and all these areas that we've opened for deepening your back bends. If you have more time to spend in Shavasana, I recommend staying a little bit longer. But if this is all the time you have, you can go ahead and walk your feet closer together. On your next inhale, take your arms up overhead. Stretch through your back and flatten the back down to the floor. Roll over to your right side. Take a breath here. And then press yourself up to whatever seated position you like best. Take your hands to your heart. Peace and namaste. I hope you enjoyed this practice. If you did, please like and comment down below. Let me know what you thought if you'd like to see more practices like this. Also, if you are not a subscriber, please join our community. We have kind of a fun, small, very focused community, very supportive. We would love to have you as part of that community. Check back often, no matter whether you're a subscriber or not. I upload 3 videos a week that have a variety of different ways, a more holistic and rounded view of yoga, including myofascial release, yin, restorative, vinyasa flow, meditation, and a few more things. So check back. I hope to see you again soon, and have a wonderful day.